Welcome to the Perfect Your Purpose podcast, where my main goal is to connect with inspiring individuals across the country, allow them to share their journeys that have brought them to where they are today and how they're living and discovering their unique purpose. I am your host, Annika Tramburg, joined by Mark David today, and I'm so thankful to have you on. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
From the beautiful up north cabin life. I love that.
Yes.
So I know you have a very, interesting story and journey, and that's why I love doing these podcasts, is because everyone comes from such different walks of life. Everyone has some story to share and something that relates to so many people, and we're all connected, I think, more than people realize. So I would love to talk about, first, tell me a little bit about, your early 20s, because I know that was an interesting time in your life. And then we can kind of go from there and talk about why it led you to where you are today.
Sure. Well, like many in my early 20s, I was starting off in my career that I'm still in today, in the lending world, and at the same time, my personal life was really um taking off too. And I got married, and my first wife, early age of 23, found out that she was diagnosed with advanced cancer. So my usual 20s shifted, from what most people in their 20s experience
Mhm.
to now. Not only was I needing to develop my career, but also I had to become this level of support and, figure out my purpose really of like, okay, here's what I'm going to need to deal with. But how am I going to deal with it was kind of the thing that I found out at a really early age that maybe some don't find out till later on in life. So yeah, that was kind of the challenge that I was presented in those early years.
Yeah. And I mean, do you feel like, I hate to say, like, bad things happen in order sometimes for you to, like, live your life or like create the journey that's meant for your life, but that had to have shaped you in some way and made you propel to where you are now. How do you feel like those life lessons and experiences, maybe in those painful times, led you to the place you're in?
Yeah, so I think that's exactly it. That my one mission when I was dealt with that challenge, and some of the challenges like that was, okay, how do you get through it
Mhm.
and stay focused was a big thing that I was determined to do. I wasn't going to walk away. I wasn't going to
Yeah.
give up. And, so those are some core beliefs that I had put in place then, that I was like, okay, I'm I'm getting myself through it. I'm getting that loved one through it, and a lot of family and friends that also were going through this challenging time together at that point in my life, and that really put this new or this foundation together for myself to really build up a different level of confidence and passion that, yeah, I still, 18 some years later, I'm still believing on those beliefs to get me through challenging days.
That's really incredible. And I think it's like these seasons of life that you go through, right? So that was your season of life then, and it took you through, very interesting things. Probably you learned a lot about yourself and those around you, your support system, what a great support system you had. And also it just, I think it defines, who we are, all of these seasons. And you had a, foundation, and you did fundraising, and you brought awareness to these topics. But then that was like a season that served its purpose, and you did your job and what you needed to do. And then it kind of took you into this next season of your life, I think, where you started flourishing in your career. So, how did that transition play out? I know,
Yeah,
I know bacon has to do with it.
yeah. So I feel like the that challenging time, yes, it got me kind of to that next stage of things. Um and as I could see how, I think the big takeaway that I was really reminding myself on a regular basis was that's a challenging time, but there's others that have even more challenging times in their lives, and to try to see silver lining or that positive spin on it. So, knowing that, I was maybe dealing with that tough point at that time, but there's others that were dealing with even tougher
Mhm.
challenges. So that then, as my next phase of life went on into, from a professional standpoint, my core purpose really I found was I was on a passion and a mission to help others and changing people's lives. And so changing, those, whether it's one life or many, it then evolved into my professional world, which I enjoy changing people's lives with, showing them how to make it be possible to own real estate. And even if they might have super challenging situations, we, have that, I have that passion and that desire to get them to that finish line and make that goal and reality happen. And to put a positive spin on it, yes, I started incorporating bacon with it, and that was just kind of a fun thing to put along with that all. But again, at the end of the day, it really, the core belief was to have that change in somebody's life that I could be part of. And I continue to be part of that with
Mhm.
a lot of the different things that I do, and all of the all of the momentum that I put behind it has really just kind of come indirectly to help so many people, not just locally but across the country, which is really, really just humbling that I never really sought out to do, but it happened. And so much of this goes back to, helping through other challenging times to what I do now, which is kind of a crazy parallel, but it
Yeah.
does work that way.
What do you feel like your purpose is as it relates to your career and lending? And I think sometimes people think so narrowly about their focus or about their purpose, but it can be so much greater than just your job. But in that space, how do you feel like your purpose plays out?
Well, again, there's sometimes it's just a matter of guidance that sometimes I can provide to somebody, and I've walked down that path maybe, and provide that help to another person or to a group of people. And also really to elaborate on not just my purpose professionally, again in my current personal life, there's this new level of purpose as I've gotten remarried, and we've had this amazing miracle of having a daughter, and being a father is like, a whole new purpose to now
Mhm.
changing, my daughter's life, and what we're doing personally, is just really, again, that purpose of, I'm always kind of reflecting,
Mhm.
what that mission is that I'm trying to accomplish and achieve, and how I can get there. But yeah, there's always going to be challenges. You know, my my wife and I, we, when we decided we wanted to expand the family, we found out it wasn't going to be an easy journey. So we did need to seek out, fertility help. And that was something that when we did find out that it was going to be possible, we we were super grateful and super happy that, like, this was kind of another blessing in disguise that happened for us. And now I'm on a mission to be filling that purpose as a father and a husband.
It is so interesting how purpose relates to so many aspects of your life and changes just as the years change. Um, do you feel like your purpose is constantly changing, or do you feel like do you have like an overall purpose that you wish to pursue and achieve in life? And what is that?
I would say the common purpose I've been directed and focused on for, going back many years, and I think I will in the future, is again to change lives. Not just myself. Obviously, we're always on a mission to change ourselves, right? For the better, but to for others. So changing lives is really my core purpose. That I do believe in that, and that changing lives, like I said, personally, professionally. Again, I've been very blessed that I've gotten to change the lives of thousands of people, literally. But even for others that are trying to find their purpose, to not feel like it has to be thousands of people, I guess is my other big mission or message,
Yeah.
that you can, even if it's yourself that you change and that purpose is just for you, that's okay. Or if it's maybe just a couple of people, that's okay too. And maybe that's where you want to be. And so for me, that's been my mission and passion is to so many different things on fundraising and professionally, and just even random strangers. Sometimes I'm on a little purpose mission of, connecting with somebody, maybe at a grocery store and helping them load their groceries or doing other things like that I think is important for all of us to achieve and do, that I've been believing in.
Yeah. Is there anyone that sticks out that has helped you kind of figure out what purpose means in your life along the way, or any mentors you looked up to? Or I gotta imagine, like, people think that they can just do life by themselves sometimes. And I'm like, no, you gotta lean on friends and family and those wiser than you and older than you that know more. And was there anyone like that in your life that was a leader?
There have been so many.
Yeah.
can't can't begin to list them all off. Yes, from friends and family, and professional connections, and uh, yeah, over so many years, I can't really pinpoint, like, yes, this one person was that mentor or individual, but yeah, definitely so many people in the network of family and friends that I know. So yeah, there's not one that sticks out,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because I've been of who I know, and those people that they grab bits and pieces from so many of them.
Well, that's a blessing to have so many though. That really is. Is there anything that you feel like in life that has been challenging or held you back as it relates to your career or family, or, pursuing that purpose or passion?
I think if I were to really pick that apart, I'd really say, like, the biggest thing that has held me back sometimes from, thinking, hey, how do I want to pursue that purpose of changing lives? I think it's just, when you're going through poor, bad times, or getting tough news, or dealing with that negativity. Those are the things that have honestly held me back at
Mhm.
certain points. But then, again, picking yourself back up and putting a positive spin on something, or digging into that silver lining that people a lot of times don't do, and they should.
Mhm. It is true. I know that was one thing I admired about our talk last time is, the positivity that you found in so many challenges, and keeping that positive mindset really as it relates to all areas of your life, no matter what you're going through. How do you keep that positive edge?
I think the best way that I've done that is, again, really reflecting on that it could be worse, is something I've always kind of gone off of. Going back to my early 20s, I'm working with my first wife's battle of cancer, and so many would approach us and say, "Oh my gosh, you guys have been dealt the worst deck of cards ever," and really, again, they're spewing out negativity, of course.
Yeah.
But the way that I looked at it was, there's other people that maybe, they unfortunately get killed in a car accident and their loved one is gone instantly.
Hmm.
And, or we came across people that found out they had, you know, terminal cancer today, and 30 days later they passed away. So we put a positive spin on it. I know it sounds weird, but to say, hey, there was during that phase at least, this advanced kind of timeline that you had the opportunity to maybe do things that others didn't. So knowing and looking at that it always could be worse. So again, spinning it positive, I guess, is the advice I can give on that.
That is great advice. Is there anything before we close out today that you would love to share with the audience just about you, or, that was a great piece of advice, but if there's anything that you want them to take away just from your journey, and leave them with that.
I think my takeaway advice would be, for people to focus on what your passion is, and what motivates you, or how you feel rewarded, and whether it's big or small. And I think that's like the biggest thing for myself, that, again, you know, it I've been inspired by sometimes just a small, change that I've been able to accomplish, and then I'm inspired by big changes. So for others, if you're able to have a purpose, impact one or many, to really, focus on that and motivate yourself off of that, and to stay positive, definitely.
I love it. Positivity, and always remembering that someone else might have it worse than you. So staying positive and looking at the good things that life throws your way and the silver linings that you can find in bad situations. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your journey and your story of purpose and perseverance really through all of your life.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. For more information on the Perfect Your Purpose podcast, you can stream it on your preferred streaming service.